Welcome to Media. This is your host Umar Tariq. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. So, continuing with our resilience series, we have another female guest today. Unfortunately, like I said in all my previous interviews, that females are judged a lot. Um, Overall, हर चीज पे कभी किसी बात पे कभी किसी बात पे, and that makes them a bit apprehensive about coming forward in public, especially on a public platform for an interview, and make themselves vulnerable by sharing their experiences, their struggles, and their failures. So I have a lot of respect and a lot of appreciation for all our female guests. So on that note, let's welcome Dr. Rabia Rizwan. Assalamu alaikum, Rabia. कैसी हैं आप?
Walaikum salam, बिल्कुल ठीक ठाक.
Thank you for coming to the show.
नहीं, of course, it's a pleasure.
तो राबिया, जो लोग आपको नहीं जानते, प्लीज टेल अस अबाउट योरसेल्फ. कहाँ से हो, कहाँ से एमबीबीएस किया, और वहां से लेके आज तक का सफर, वेयर यू आर नाउ एंड व्हाट आर यू डूइंग. प्लीज गो अहेड.
So, मेरी फैमिली ओरिजिनली पाकिस्तान में हुंजा गिलगित से है, बट मैं लाहौर में पली पढ़ी हूँ और मैंने ग्रेजुएट किंग एडवर्ड मेडिकल यूनिवर्सिटी से किया है मार्च 2010 में. और करंटली अभी आई एम अ हॉस्पिटलिस्ट हियर इन कनेटिकट. So I could start with the
Go ahead.
sorry. So actually probably sort of my journey would start from med school. जब मैंने med school start किया था तो I was sort of the first person from my immediate family जो कि doctor बना था. तो not even the first female, just the first person. तो my parents were incredibly proud. वो हमेशा थे जब मेरी medicine में भी जो सालें हर वक्त मुझे मतलब एक इनकरेज करते थे कि आगे भी काम करना है, आगे स्पेशलाइजेशन करनी है या आगे काम करना है, क्योंकि उन्होंने देखा होता है कि आप कितनी मेहनत से फिजिशियन बनते हो, कितनी मेहनत से आपने सारे प्रॉफ और ये सारा एंट्री टेस्ट पास किया होता है. तो व्हेन आई ग्रेजुएटेड मार्च 2010, तो फॉर्चुनेटली जो the family that I got married into, they were really educated. Or jo meri sister-in-laws thi, they were physicians. One of them actually was a resident in US. So even mere husband or mere in-laws, they were also like very encouraging कि आगे specialization करनी है. तो initially तो खैर मैंने जब house job भी start की थी पाकिस्तान में, तो it was just a personal decision. I actually started going into the British system first. क्योंकि there was this thing कि you can get into a foundation if you clear both exams and you're within 1 year of your graduation. So I actually cleared PLAB 1 in August, फिर PLAB 2 मैंने दिया था January में, and I got a foundation. लेकिन within 2 days of that, I actually got an email कि there was this rule change कि they don't sponsor, they're not going to sponsor any training visas. And FN is a foundation, and there's no way कि ये हो. तो or even my husband actually had a highly skilled migrant visa for UK. Even then उस पे बड़ा clear लिखा होता है कि they are not going to sponsor any training visas. तो non-training jobs में जाना और फिर उसमें ultimately train करना was a very long pathway in UK. It probably can take up to 10 to 15 years. And it wasn't very clear to उसके बावजूद कि अगर आप इतने साल भी लगा दो. तो even though अब मैंने 1 साल लगा दिया था उस पे, but I think I just made a decision. I'm just going to forgo all of that. And it was a setback क्योंकि at that time जब 1 साल almost हो गया था, मेरी friends में से actually they were about to take their USMLEs. But I actually was like, I'm going to just treat that as a setback. I'm not going to think about it क्योंकि I always feel like if you have a success, वो आपको इतना personal, I think, grit या strong नहीं करता जितने setbacks करते हैं. It just makes you more gritty and more strong. So I actually then started doing USMLE because it sort of had a more clear pathway कि आपने USMLE clear करनी है, then you do a 3-year training and then specialization. So I started doing it, but then the issue became that मैंने PLAB 1 किया था, I was living with my in-laws and obviously my husband, so I didn't have the responsibility of the whole house or anything. I could just study like I was studying med school में कि अपनी मर्जी से पढ़ा, exam दिया और काम खत्म. And by that time, June में I had my first daughter. And then my husband had to move to Islamabad, and then my brother-in-law was also living with us. So it was like almost like a decent sized household. And I was like, for the first time, responsible for a household. So that was a big responsibility. वो थोड़ा सा शुरू में थोड़ा सा आपको feel होता है. बट जब मैंने पढ़ना स्टार्ट किया तो देयर आर सो मेनी थिंग्स, देयर सच अ ह्यूज मेंटल लोड कि आपने जो जो चीज़ें करनी है बाय एंड ऑफ फर्स्ट वीक। तो मैंने अगस्त में पढ़ना स्टार्ट किया था तो मुझे लगा कि आई कुडंट इवन लाइक रीड 2 pages। तो आई ट्राई टू फाइंड पीपल जो कि जिनके बच्चे हैं एंड दे आर लाइक इवन इन यूएस दे आर लाइक रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर द होल हाउस, दे आर रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर लाइक छोटी छोटी चीज़ें होती हैं। तो लाइक आई कुडंट फाइंड मेनी पीपल जो उन्होंने भी कर लिया है। आई थिंक इस तरह का बड़ा फोरम नहीं था। मेरी अपनी जो फ्रेंड्स थी उनमें से some of them are not married जो दे रही थी और उनमें से किसी के बच्चे नहीं थे। I found someone जो कि पिछले 1 साल से दे रही थी and she couldn't even complete her first read and she told me कि मैं सारा दिन अपने हाथ में किताब लेके घूमती हूँ, बच्चे को मैं देख रही होती हूँ और जब कोई टाइम मिलता है मैं साथ साथ पढ़ लेती हूँ। I thought like it's not going to work। तो अगर मैंने करना है तो I have to be more disciplined, I have to find like 6 hours इन माई डे एटलीस्ट, क्योंकि इतना मुझे पता था कि जब मेरे पास सारा दिन भी था पढ़ने के लिए, जब शादी से पहले या बच्चों से पहले, आई थिंक अगर आप काउंट करो तो इट्स ऑलमोस्ट लाइक 6 hours, प्रॉब्ली नेवर मोर देन दैट। तो आई हैड टू फाइंड दोज 6 hours क्योंकि आई वाज कंपीटिंग विद पीपल जो उनके पास सारा सारा दिन था, दे वर प्रॉब्ली इन लाइब्रेरीज और बगैर किसी फिक्र के दे आर जस्ट स्टडीइंग। तो आई एक्चुअली लाइक यूज्ड टू गेट अप really early in the morning। So I used to get 4 hours there. Then my daughter would wake up and her schedule was like कि वो उठती थी, खाना खाती थी, फिर सो जाती थी 2-3 घंटे के लिए। So I used to get 2 hours more। So I used to get 6 hours and I used to make them very productive कि मैंने उसमें कोई social media नहीं यूज करना, किसी चीज़ की फिक्र नहीं करनी। I'm not going to have any mental load कि मैंने चलो सफाई करनी है, there's probably laundry or stuff। So and also I was like persistent कि अगर मैंने एक दिन सिर्फ 1 घंटा पढ़ा है लेकिन अगले दिन मैंने फिर 6 घंटे पढ़ना है। तो when I started in August, तो जब मैंने first read complete की थी in like 3 months, तो that was sort of like a God reinforcement कि I can do it। क्योंकि by end of it I realized like you have to treat it like a marathon, like not a race कि आपने बस persistently बस करते जाना है, like छोड़ना नहीं है। मैंने फर्स्ट रीड कंप्लीट की, फिर मैंने उसमें यू वर्ल्ड साथ किया। यू वर्ल्ड की जो यू वर्ल्ड नहीं किया, सॉरी अब मुझे भूल गया। आई एम ट्राइंग टू रिमेंबर कि मैंने क्या किया था। वो जो फर्स्ट रीड की बुक थी वो साथ इनकॉर्पोरेट की सेकंड रीड में। फिर उसके बाद मैंने यू वर्ल्ड लिया और उसके बाद 4 महीने थे। जब जब आखिरी महीना था, जब मेरी बेटी 1 साल की हो गई, तो लाइक अब मैंने कहा कि अब मैंने 1 महीने में एग्जाम दे देना है। तो अब आप 6 घंटे नहीं पढ़ सकते, अब आपने ज़्यादा पढ़ना होता है। तो अब and then I actually went back to Lahore and I lived with my in-laws for a month। और उसमें फिर I studied like the whole probably like 9 years जो आप वाइवे के लिए पढ़ रहे होते हैं अपने फाइनल के लिए। तो मैंने अपना पहला एग्जाम दिया। मेरा like 230 240 के बीच में स्कोर आया था, like it's reasonable। मैंने फिर एक एग्जाम दिया, उसमें 250 आ गया। फिर मुझे लगा कि ये तो ऐसे ही बस कोई तुक्का लग गया है, तो I'm just going to give my exam। तो मैंने जब एग्जाम दिया उसके बाद I rested and थोड़ा सा मैंने ब्रेक लिया। फिर जब मेरा रिजल्ट आया I actually got 251। तो I was really happy about it कि I worked hard and मैंने जिन लोगों के साथ पढ़ा है, मतलब जिनके पास इतनी सारी अपॉर्चुनिटीज थी और टाइम था, उसके बावजूद भी I sort of scored reasonably well। वैसे I told previously कि जब आपके setbacks होते हैं तो you get more grittier। तो अगर आपको कुछ अच्छा स्कोर आ जाता है so sometimes you get a little overconfident too। तो I feel like जब आपका अच्छा स्कोर आ जाए then you have to be more careful क्योंकि you can make mistakes from there because you get a little overconfident।
Mhm.
So that was in sort of June। So I got the date of my CS in that September, but it was end of October। तो I actually planned कि मैं अपनी बेटी को भी साथ लेके जाऊंगी। मैंने उसका भी वीजा लगाया और अपना भी लगाया, लेकिन it happened कि मैं उस फिर एडमिट नहीं लगा सकी क्योंकि मेरे हस्बैंड ने भी आना था, उनका कोई और काम निकल आया। तो फिर मैं सिर्फ I was just here for like 2 weeks। तो मैं आई and when I came here, when I gave my exam, तो I made sort of I don't know if it was, I would say, a bad decision or a good decision। I think at that time, like retrospectively, probably not the best decision। I actually applied for the match too that year with sort of an incomplete application क्योंकि मैंने सिर्फ स्टेप वन किया था, मेरे पास कोई यूएस एक्सपीरियंस नहीं था, मुझे तो यूएस सिस्टम का भी इतना क्लियरली पता नहीं था। मैंने सीएस दिया और एक्चुअली और मैंने फिर actually got 3 interviews। तो वो थे फर्स्ट पार्ट ऑफ लाइक दिसंबर में. एंड देन आई प्लान कि मैंने इसी में 1 महीने में अपना सीके भी दे देना है. मैंने एक्चुअली एक रीड बिटवीन सीएस की भी थी, लेकिन एक रीड मतलब ऑब्वियसली फिर बीच में ब्रेक आया हुआ था, तो आई फेल्ट लाइक आई एम जस्ट गोना डू इट. इफ आई हैव अ स्ट्रांग बेस, मैंने एक महीना पढ़ा. मैंने एक्चुअली जिसका एग्जाम दिया, मेरा उसका फिर 250 स्कोर आया था, एंड आई फेल्ट लाइक प्रोबब्ली आई हैव अ गुड, मेरा सिर्फ मॉक में आया था, लेकिन जब मैंने एक्चुअल एग्जाम दिया तो आई गॉट लाइक 236, which is still reasonable. तो I feel like मैंने 6 महीने में स्टेप 1 CS और C के तीनों दे दिया. और मैंने इंटरव्यू भी खैर उसके बाद इंटरव्यूज किए. मेरा CS का स्कोर एंड मिड जनवरी में आया था, तो वो काफी लेट हो गया, but I ended up didn't matching that year, and I feel like obviously just because I had such a incomplete application, I had no US experience, but I feel like क्योंकि जो मैंने 3 इंटरव्यूज दिए थे उसके बाद I just that was sort of a glimpse of the interviews for next year कि क्या होना चाहिए. और मुझे जो एक सबसे बड़ी चीज़ जो मुझे इम्पोर्टेंट लगी थी कि आई नीड सम यूएस एक्सपीरियंस. मैंने कोई इलेक्टिव्स नहीं किए थे ड्यूरिंग मेड स्कूल क्योंकि इट वाज़न्ट क्लियर कि मैंने कहाँ जाना है. मैंने फिर ऑब्जर्वरशिप्स की और मैंने 1 महीना कनेटिकट में किया और 1 महीना ह्यूस्टन में. एक्चुअली फिर माय हस्बैंड एंड माय डॉटर आल्सो केम एंड वी जस्ट मेड अ वेकेशन आउट ऑफ इट, सो इट वाज नाइस. बट आई थिंक दैट वाज सॉर्ट ऑफ इनफ क्योंकि बहुत सारे प्रोग्राम्स की 8 वीक्स की लाइक लिमिट होती है. वो उससे पहले अगर उससे कम हो तो वो तो देखते भी नहीं आपकी एप्लीकेशन. तो मेरे 8 वीक से क्लिनिकल एक्सपीरियंस हो गया और फिर वो स्कोर्स और देन आई वेंट टू मैच. आई थिंक by that time क्योंकि I'd already gone twice to US, तो it was sort of a struggle कि अब जो है मेरी बेटी 2.5 साल की हो गई थी and she couldn't come like this December, so December wasn't a good time कि मेरे husband भी साथ आते. तो I didn't want to go for a long time. I felt like कि नहीं पता नहीं क्या psychological impact होगा मेरी बेटी पे, तो I'm not going to go away for a long time. तो I tried कि जो सारे इंटरव्यूज को एक ही 2 हफ्ते में इकट्ठा करूं. So it was from like I remember December, like between December 10th to December 25th, whatever I could fit into. There was one interview I actually had to leave कि जो नवंबर में था और वो नहीं schedule कर रहे थे, और 2 जनवरी में भी थे तो वो भी नहीं schedule कर रहे थे वापस. तो I just left them. मैंने कहा it's not worth it कि मैं इतना लंबी देर बैठूं. तो मैंने वही जो 7 दिए और उसके बाद अपना 1 हफ्ते बाद स्टेप 3 का एग्जाम दिया और फिर I came back. तो फिर I ended up matching that year. So
कहाँ मैच हुआ था?
मेरा हुआ था Connecticut में St. Vincent's. So it was a community program, but I actually sort of I liked that program. It was my second choice.
Which one
I
was
think,
number 1?
it was actually it was also in Connecticut. I actually applied mostly in areas where I had family. Connecticut, I had a huge family in Connecticut.
I remember when you were texting me Facebook page, you were more like, I want to know about the programs. I think you also interviewed at Waterbury, right?
Yeah. I actually interviewed like a lot of programs in Connecticut, and like there was
Waterbury, St. Mary's, Yale.
St. Mary's and St. Mary's में तो मैंने ऑब्जर्वरशिप भी की थी, वॉटरबरी में किया था और उसके अलावा पेंसिल्वेनिया में किया था, जहाँ पे क्योंकि I was coming with a family and that was sort of my biggest thing कि just to go to a place जहाँ पे family है. मैंने न्यूयॉर्क के किसी भी प्रोग्राम में अप्लाई नहीं किया था क्योंकि मुझे वही थोड़ा सा डर लग रहा था. It just felt so like non for family oriented. I don't know, like I had this fear of New York in my mind, so I didn't even like apply in New York. So I ended up going there or and one of the best things about this whole thing was like obviously my parents, my in-laws, and then my husband, kyunki he was doing a job that he would do projects and then he could move anywhere, and then for his projects he would just travel. So that really worked out for me.
What does he do?
He's in public-private partner. I mean, he makes projects related to public-private partnership, and
Okay.
I'm not able to explain that really well. I mean, he works with like ऐसे banks जो कि see,
so he's a finance guy.
Still really bad at explaining that.
It's okay. He's a finance guy.
He's in finance, and then he does projects for. So anyway, so that year we came, and I did my my residency, I think at every point I have had good advice from people that I just like, जो कि मैंने बस फिर उस पर काफ़ी like काम किया. जैसे मैंने इंटर्नशिप स्टार्ट की थी तो मुझे याद है जो आउट गोइंग चीफ रेसिडेंट था, उसने कहा था कि फर्स्ट ईयर में बहुत मेहनत करनी है, फर्स्ट ईयर में आप जितनी मेहनत करोगे सेकंड और थर्ड ईयर उतना आसान होगा. तो आई फील लाइक जो फर्स्ट ईयर था ऑब्वियसली मुश्किल होता है, लेकिन जो मैंने एक हैबिट डेवलप की थी यूएसएमएलई की तैयारी में कि जल्दी जाके जो अगर कोई चीज़ करनी है तो तब करके ख़त्म कर देनी है ताकि यू हैव द रेस्ट ऑफ द डे फॉर योरसेल्फ. सो एक्चुअली आई फेल लाइक मैंने फर्स्ट ईयर में काफ़ी मेहनत की थी, और बाय एंड ऑफ द फर्स्ट ईयर मुझे एक्चुअली मेरी प्रोग्राम डायरेक्टर ने कहा था कि लाइक यू आर लाइक वन ऑफ द मोस्ट हार्ड वर्किंग पीपल आई हैव सीन, तो मैंने बस तुम्हें चीफ रेसिडेंट बनाना है. तो उसने मुझे फर्स्ट ईयर के एंड में ही कह दिया था. तो खैर सेकंड ईयर हुआ, फिर जब थर्ड ईयर में इट वाज प्रोग्राम्स विद थर्ड ईयर एंड आई वाज लाइक थर्ड ईयर एंड अ चीफ रेसिडेंट. तो at that time there was this decision कि जी fellowship करनी है कि आगे I was on a J1 तो या waiver करना है. But also I was expecting my second kid that year, so waiver seemed like the best choice to do. And the first program, actually I interviewed at Yale and I joined like as a waiver, and I signed up for a waiver for next year there. And I remember actually, and I really liked that place too. और जो उसका डायरेक्टर था उसने मुझे ये कहा था, उसको हमारी एक्चुअली प्रोग्राम में काफ़ी लोगों ने अप्लाई किया तो उसने सिर्फ मुझे बुलाया. उसने मुझे ये कहा कि आई कॉल यू बिकॉज आई नो योर मेडिकल स्कूल एंड एवरीवन आई हैव हैड फ्रॉम योर मेडिकल स्कूल it has been really hard working. So I am really grateful to
Interesting.
whoever
Interesting.
whoever from my med school was there. And so I think this is really important. Like if you want to have more people from your country and from med school, like work hard at whatever place you're going to, and it will help people like everyone like me. So I'm still working there. Actually, it's been 4 years, or I really like this place. First, actually, even after when I started, so it's like hard being an attending in the start. But someone told me that there's always like medicine is just so vast. हर वक्त सीख रहे होते हो, from podiatry to orthopedic surgery to everything. तो किसी ने मुझे कहा था कि you have to learn just one thing every single day. So I listen to like अगर मैं स्कूल जा रही हूँ तो I listen to like a medical podcast that's sort of थोड़ा सा it's like funny or Twitter or something like that, sort of my one thing कि learn just one thing every day. Or and that really helped. और जहाँ पे मैं थी I've been very fortunate कि it's sort of like a university program. Everybody wants to teach. I actually learned ultrasound there from an attending. और फिर I teach medical students too. And उसके बाद मुझे लगा कि that's something like I really enjoy क्योंकि that just keeps you like connected to your basics. And actually during chief residency, I was sort of I explored the administration side of it too. Okay, I was part of.
Go ahead.
So yeah, so I was so I can teach medical students too. That also like keeps me like grounded and connected to basics. Or uske alawa just then starting with some administration experience too. And these are the things as a physician you don't think about, but you actually enjoy. And actually I started enjoying that when I was a chief resident. I was part of different committees. और मैं मेरी कोई opinion. So also and then I'm exploring certain like administration side too. That's I sort of explored during chief residency. You're part of different committees and you have some opinion and people listen to that. That's exciting. Or other than that, one of the other things that I started doing here that मुझे जिसका अपनी जहाँ भी मैं resident थी वहाँ पे इतनी opportunities नहीं मिली थी, that I found a great mentor and I've started this research. And I know there's so many things too, like, and I feel like जो मैंने habit अपनी USMLE में create की थी कि if I want to get certain things done with that research, I just pick up early and get that done. So, and I really like, I mean, I think at this point in my life, this is sort of a schedule that really works for me. I'm like off 14 days a month, which is great. When I tell my brothers and sisters, they just get jealous. They feel like, ye kaun si job hai jahan you're not working half a month. Then you sort of explore the other sides of the non-medicine sides of your of life too, which sort of makes the person that you are. I think in the past 3 years कि मैंने इतनी नई चीजें भी सीखने की कोशिश की है, कुछ में मैं कामयाब हुई हूँ, कुछ में I failed miserably. I really, like, for the past 2 years I've started making like cakes and decorating them, and I feel like मेरी family में जो function होता है सब मुझसे कराते हैं. Like other things like
खाली केक या खाने वगैरह भी?
I actually enjoy that too. One of the
I
things
do
that
that too. I totally enjoy it too.
yeah, no, I enjoy your post too. So I sometimes I buy a book and I just like cook through that book. Like
Acha.
recently I bought this Palestine. That's amazing. So I really enjoy that.
It's an art. You know, it's a new art, a new skill.
Yeah, it's an art and actually science too. It's a science that sort of brought me into it. Like cake making has the science and it's just amazing. Or even cooking. Cooking definitely is an art, science, everything combined.
Exactly. And you can show your creativity.
Yeah, for sure. And यहाँ पे आके initially तो मजबूरी बन जाती है, लेकिन यहाँ पे सीखने हर चीज तो आप यहाँ पे आप सीख सकते हो. Everything के जी, if you want to change, like learn skiing, वो भी आप YouTube पे सीख सकते हो. So there are so many things that, like, I feel like if you have this artistic side, that also comes into play. And so I've enjoyed that, and I can do that. I'm like, I started growing plants too. That I failed at, but I did that. और उसके अलावा
कौन से plants उगाए थे?
बस जो पाकिस्तानी खानों में डलते हैं, धनिया पुदीना बेसिल खैर वो पाकिस्तानी इसमें नहीं डलते, लेकिन अल्टीमेटली आई गिव अप एंड बॉट एन एरो गार्डन. लेकिन
मैंने अपना ना पीछे काफी बहुत बड़ा गार्डन बनाया है, तो मेरे हर साल पिछले 5 साल से आई ग्रो माय ओन वेजिटेबल्स, टमाटर, हरी मिर्चें, स्ट्रॉबेरीज, सिलांट्रो, बेसिल और क्या, पुदीना, यू नो, ऑल दैट स्टफ. पुदीना मैं खास तौर पे पाकिस्तान से लेके आया था. और वो जो चीज है ना, मतलब वो आपको खास सुकून मिलता है. यू नो, आप यू पुट दैट वो लिटिल सीडलिंग डालो, और वो फिर जब उसके टमाटर निकलते हैं या उसकी हरी मिर्चें निकलती, वैसा टमाटर वैसी हरी मिर्च आपको कहीं से नहीं मिलती, और घर का ऑर्गेनिक. यू नो, वी स्पेंड ऑल दैट मनी टू बाय ऑर्गेनिक फूड. तो यू कैन डू दैट. आई फील लाइक दैट गिव्स मी एक कुकिंग और एक प्लांटिंग जो है, गार्डनिंग वगैरह, और खास तौर पे अगर फ्लावर्स वगैरह लो, दैट गिव्स यू एक खास किस्म का ज़हनी सुकून that you're not able to get elsewhere.
हाँ, ऐसे जैसे आपका USMLE में अच्छा एक
हाँ, right? Exactly.
You've achieved something.
Exactly. चलो, very nice. Thanks for sharing all that, Rabia. तो अब मुझे ये बताओ कि I'm gonna ask you a few questions based on your journey specifically, कि अगर किसी को नहीं पता and they're in your situation and they're trying to consider UK versus US, what are you gonna tell them? पहले UK का जो आपको पता है वो बताओ, and then UK versus US, what's your analysis?
So मेरा एनालिसिस शुरू में ये था कि यूके भी मेरी काफ़ी फैमिली थी, और यूके वाज क्लोजर टू होम obviously, and so basically it was just more for family and like the proximity to Pakistan, और थोड़ा सा मैं I had been to UK before too. लेकिन I think अभी तो चीज़ें change हो गई हैं, especially after Brexit. They might have changed, they might change, like especially training visa opportunities. I haven't looked into it, so I can't say much, but I feel like things might change. I like 10 years back, I can say it was not a good decision, just because if you're purely looking into training, that's going to take a really long time. If you're obviously there with your spouse, and like if you have a certain a visa that allows you to do training, then obviously that's a good choice. But UK has a clear, US has a clearer path. Obviously, training visas are easier to get compared to UK, so I would definitely prefer US over that. The training exam is definitely, the pathway is definitely longer. USMLE is definitely harder compared to PLAB, but that's the difference. But I would definitely prefer UK over US.
So what my understanding is कि आप 2 साल foundation years करते हो. Yep. So you do 2 years of foundation years. उसके बाद आप job कर सकते हो, लेकिन आपको अगर training पकड़नी है, या तो आप काम करो या training पकड़ो. तो training जो है वो मिलना बहुत मुश्किल है, और वो training जो है you can spend anywhere between 5 to 10 years to do your training. Whereas in US you get a training job immediately after your USMLE exams, and depending on your specialty you will spend 3 to 5 years as compared to 5 to 10 years to become an attending. सही. तो दूसरी बात, incomplete application, we talked about that. So how helpful was your experience of going unmatched? I know you went through hell because एक दफा unmatched जाना आपके लिए बहुत बड़ा stress होता है. चाहे you have that in mind कि भाई you have an incomplete application, लेकिन how helpful was it? Let's say if there is someone who went unmatched this year, what would you tell them? How can they look on the brighter side of the picture? So what were the things that helped you?
I think the biggest thing you have to look at is just application कहाँ पे कमजोर है उस चीज को strong करें. Like clinical experiences ठीक नहीं है आपकी, अगर letter of recommendation और ले लें. I think one of the biggest thing with my application was कि मैंने जब observership की थी तो मुझे वहाँ पे बड़े strong letter of recommendation मिले थे, especially जो मैंने Connecticut में की थी. That attending wrote like a very personal, उसने जी मेरे patient experiences भी लिखे थे और that actually really helped me. And like a lot of people during interviews mentioned that letter to KG. We actually really like that letter, and sometimes if they personally know that attending too. So I think people in Connecticut knew that attending too, so they called me. So I think letter of anything that was just weaker, you can improve it. I think that even जब आप USMLE की तैयारी कर रहे होते हो, तो जब आप अपने एग्जाम दे रहे होते हो, I think it's the more you go forward, आप अपने weaker spots को अपने strong करना होता है. और इसके अलावा क्योंकि स्कोर तो एक दफ़ा तो आ गया, स्कोर आ गया, आपके अटेम्प्ट्स आ गए, you cannot change that. I think just getting to like doing a lot of observerships, getting to know a program too, जहाँ पे आपने observership की है, तो you have a high like doing observerships in those places जहाँ पे you have a high chance of matching. That also really helps, and especially like closer to the application process. Even as a resident, I felt like कि जब जो observers थे जो कि closer to the application program, हमारी program में observership करते होते थे, तो they had a higher chance of matching. So I think these are the things that you can improve your application, and obviously
Sahi.
then the research.
Sahi. So something interesting, something I can relate to. मैंने जब मैच अप्लाई किया था ना, मैंने स्टेप 1 और CS के साथ किया था, और मैंने CK दिया था अक्टूबर में, नवंबर में रिजल्ट आया था, एंड आई वाज 100% श्योर कि मेरा मैच नहीं होगा. ठीक है, मेरी CS में अटेम्प्ट थी, स्टेप 1 में मेरे स्कोर लो थे, और CK में भी स्टेप 1 में 220 थे, स्टेप 2 में 213 था. ठीक है, मैं स्टैनफोर्ड में रिसर्च कर रहा था, 2 साल का एक्सपीरियंस था, लेकिन बेस्ड ऑन दैट आई वाज लाइक अभी तो मेरी एप्लीकेशन ही इनकम्प्लीट है, मेरा मैच हो गया. मुझे यकीन नहीं हुआ कि मेरा मैच हुआ. लेकिन यू कैन, बट आई नो मोर पीपल जिन लोगों ने इनकम्प्लीट एप्लीकेशंस के साथ अप्लाई किया और नहीं हुआ. एंड आई टेल दैट टू एवरीवन कि कोशिश यही करो कि ECFMG सर्टिफिकेशन भी हो जाए और स्टेप 3 भी दे दो, ताकि आपका वीजा H1 वगैरह आपको मिल सके. अच्छा, अब मुझे ये बताओ, व्हेन यू वर इंटरव्यूइंग, सो यू सेड कि इन दिसंबर you came and you did all your interviews, so you went back to Pakistan, family सारी पाकिस्तान में थी, जब अनमैच गई फिर पाकिस्तान चले गई, घर में रही?
हाँ, मतलब जब एक्चुअली मैं तो मतलब फॉर पूरा जो प्रोसेस है जो मैंने किया है, आई हैड ओनली 3 trips to US. One was like a month, one was like 1.5 months सबसे पहले, फिर 2 months जो मैं फैमिली के साथ आई थी, and then like 2 weeks. So that was my whole like time spent in US. उसके बाद तो I was in Islamabad in Pakistan. So
सही.
even if it was like unmatched, then I started preparing for step 3, or I started looking for observerships, or मैं observership करने यहाँ पे आई थी, but started working on the application. So yeah, I wasn't in US for this whole
सही.
process.
तो you were chief resident, right? तो जिन लोगों को नहीं पता, if you don't mind telling them कि what a chief resident is, what are their responsibilities, उसका मतलब क्या है, what is the difference between a third year chief versus fourth year chief, and all that stuff?
I think it sort of changed my personality just being a chief, just because you're
What is a chief resident?
the chief resident is someone who just sort of makes the schedule, and actually sometimes acts as part of faculty too, goes to all faculty meetings, and is member of different committees too, or they have a lot of say too. I actually used to interview candidates too for the program as well. So you get to know a lot of this academic side of the medicine too. And before I became a chief resident too, we went to this training program in like Vegas. I actually met 5 or 6 of my class fellows there too. तो उसका किंग एडवर्ड वहाँ पे बहुत ज़्यादा था. तो खैर anyway, so that was pretty. वहाँ पे भी आपको different जो personality traits बताते हैं कि how to handle conflict, how to handle different things, and how to get the job done. क्योंकि आप बहुत सारी issues create होते हैं within residents, and you're the person responsible for solving that. Like if there is a resident who's just not doing well, and if also like being a third year chief resident, so third year residents होते हैं, they are also your friends. So like if they get into a trouble and they get into some trouble, so आपको you have to sort of sort that out outside of everything. So that was tricky. And you just get, I think मेरे लिए सबसे बड़ी चीज ये थी कि I knew like what programs are looking into like when they're hiring a resident, because I was interviewing. And I was in those meetings too, जब वो बाद में resident को बाद में मतलब applicant को बाद में discuss कर रहे होते हैं कमरे में बैठ के. So I think that
What
gave
are
me
those
a huge.
things?
I think it was just more of a personality. I think the biggest thing जो वो ये कहते हैं कि is like how their personality comes across. If they come across as a difficult person, like you're completely out.
Difficult person is someone who is not easy to work with, you know.
Definitely, yeah. Not easy to work with. If you come across as arrogant, I have had them like just कि उन्होंने इतनी मतलब एक हार्वर्ड का ग्रेजुएट था, उन्होंने उसकी वो थोड़ा सा एरोगेंट सा था, उन्होंने तो बस फाइल वहीं पे रिजेक्ट करके साइड पे कर दी. मतलब इट वाज अ कम्युनिटी प्रोग्राम. उन्होंने कहा नो, लाइक दिस इज नॉट नेवर गोइंग टू वर्क. अगर कोई मतलब दे गो फॉर समवन, उनके लिए सबसे बड़ी चीज थी कि they felt like very like had a nice personality के उस प्रोग्राम के लिए just right fit के और हर एक के साथ friendly है. Someone who's on their phone was also a big no. They would just like completely throw away that application at that applicant wasn't talking to anybody else. वो सिर्फ आपस में phone पे लगा हुआ था. मतलब किसी ने phone खोल लिया ना, that they are done. और बस आपस में ही बात करें, दो बंदे आपस में बात करें, सबसे बात नहीं कर रहे. They would ask, actually पहले तो सबसे ज़्यादा feedback तो उनका सुना जाता था जो कि आपको टूर करा रहे होते हैं हॉस्पिटल का, कि क्या उन्होंने आपसे क्वेश्चन पूछे थे, कोई ऐसा रिमार्क तो नहीं था कि that would come across, क्योंकि उन्होंने एक्चुअली आपसे काम कराना होता है. someone who's ready to learn, someone who's going to be professional. ये सबसे बड़ी चीज होती है. someone who's going to be difficult from day one, nobody wants to deal with that. ये एक बहुत major issue होता है, dealing with difficult residents. So nobody wants that. Obviously scores are important जो था, क्योंकि nobody wants कि कोई ऐसा बंदा जो कि बाद में एग्जाम क्लियर नहीं कर सकेगा. तो these were sort of the things.
Thanks for sharing that. सही. तो मुझे बताओ, so you're doing your waiver at Yale. Yale अच्छी खासी जगह है भाई. I've been there. I've done my sub internship in emergency medicine. तो Yale में waiver कैसे मिल गया?
Yale, I mean, New Haven is an underserved area.
Seriously,
so
New Haven, Connecticut?
It is because population बहुत ज़्यादा है वहाँ पे, तो it's considered underserved.
Interesting. तो सारी specialties के लिए या सिर्फ medicine के लिए?
I'm actually not sure about other specialties, but
interesting. I didn't know that Yale is considered an underserved area. हाँ, उधर crime rate high था. मतलब I had some bitter experiences there. लेकिन overall my understanding was कि it's a nice area. Interesting. सही. तो अब you have been doing your waiver for 4 years, right?
No, waiver is only for 3 years. So waiver I'm done, and I'm doing like just a regular job. Like I'm in the process of like the whole green card application and
green
stuff.
Card.
So
because did you do your step 3 before match या नहीं?
Before match. जब मैं interview के लिए आई थी, तो तभी मैंने step 3 दे दिया था.
So you were not able to get an H1?
It was like a different issue because my husband was also coming. He was going to get my visa, so I just wanted. J2 had more of rights to do certain things that H4 spouses don't have. So it just sort of made sense. Or I think आपका green card delay होता है for like 2 to 3 years. In the grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter.
Who cares? As long as आप काम कर रहे हो, पैसे बना रहे हो, you're working with dignity. That's all that matters, right? So सही. So now you have completed your waiver of 3 years, and this year in the 4th year you will get a green card, which is pretty typical for most of the waiver jobs. कि आप अपना 3 साल कर लो तो चौथे साल आपको आता है. अच्छा, तो you're saying कि now you work with trainees, the residents, and the medical students as well. How is that experience? Yale के trainees को आप train करते हो?
It's a surreal experience. Especially the med students part, it's very surreal. I guess it feels nice, but I think at this point I've reached a stage that I'm now looking at my kids कि मैं सोच रही होती हूँ कि okay, what did they do that they ended up at that place? So I think मेरा दिमाग जो है automatically has turned into like a parent brain कि जो मैं उनके medical students को बैठ के पूछ रही होती हूँ कि अच्छा पहले क्या किया था, फिर क्या किया था. So I'm trying to get that experience, but it's the same actually. Just अगर आप पाकिस्तान में med students को पढ़ा रहे होते हैं, they're just excited about every small thing कि कोई भी उनको physical findings आप दिखा दो तो they get so excited and it just makes you feel excited. I like that experience.
So now talking about kids, कितने बच्चे हैं?
3 माशाल्लाह.
2 बेटियां 1 बेटा. So सबसे बड़ी बेटी की क्या एज है?
She's 9.
9. वाओ,
Yes.
माशाल्लाह माशाल्लाह. अच्छा मेरा ख्याल था मेरे बच्चे बड़े हैं. मेरी बेटी 7.5 साल की है और सबसे छोटा is like he's 18 months, right?
Yes, he's 18 months.
So now you're a busy mom, huh?
Yes, I am, but I think I got busy. I was already in attending, so I could outsource a lot of things. और मुझे पहले से ही पता था कि देखो, I cannot expect myself to do everything क्योंकि my mother was not a working woman and she was doing so many things. So how can I expect myself to work all of those things और मैं काम भी कर रही हूँ? So like from day one, we were outsourcing so many things. Like I have a nanny. The nanny comes during my day offs too. जो मेरे घर पे मेरे वो दिन होते हैं और फिर sometimes I outsource cooking to actually found someone from my school in Lahore जो मेरे साथ रहती है तो the days I don't feel like cooking I just grab food from her or I have every machine known to mankind that cooks. Like I have a Rotimatic, I have a like everything. So and then I outsource cleaning and like that sorts of things. So that makes things easier.
So कहाँ रहती हो आप? न्यू हेवन में?
नहीं, I live like 30 minutes away from that place, like closer to the like Fairfield side.
सही. तो वाटरबडी में ना एक रेस्टोरेंट है बिस्मिल्लाह. I don't know if you have been there. That is one of my favorite restaurants. Bismillah and Waterbury.
उसके साथ वो ग्रोसरी स्टोर भी है.
जी जी जी. तो उधर से हम लोग काफी खाना ले लिया करते थे उन अंकल से. वो बड़े अच्छे खाने बना के, वो काफी बहुत अच्छा खाना उनका. और इस तरह मेरिडन कनेटिकट में है रोटी बोटी. You know that is one of my favorite. और रोटी बोटी के साथ है, मुझे नाम भूल रहा है, तबाक है शायद. उनका बफे बहुत जबरदस्त, राइट? उनका जो बफे होता था ना, मैंने आई हैड टू गो देयर. जब मैं वाटरबरी में काम कर रहा था कि भाई वीकेंड पे हमने जाना ही जाना है. उनके बफे और उनके छोले बिल्कुल लाहौर के छोले होते थे. लाइक सीरियसली आई लव देयर फूड. अच्छा, तो अब मुझे ये बताओ कि you said you're also doing research. What are you doing your research on?
I'm actually doing it on like colon ischemia और ये जो है जो मेरे mentor हैं, he's very well known in colon ischemia. तो मैं अभी आजकल फिलहाल data gather कर रही होती हूँ. तो मेरे जो off days होते हैं, sometimes just wake up early, spend like 2 to 3 hours on it. और अगर इसमें कोई काम करना हो तो और दूसरा ये कि मेरे कुछ seniors भी थे जो पाकिस्तान के पहले उनके साथ काम कर रहे थे, तो they helped me a lot too. वो भी येल में ही जॉब कर रहे थे, तो वो जब छोड़ के आगे फेलोशिप में चले गए तो they handed over the project to me. तो अभी आजकल मैं वो सीख रही हूँ. It's a completely different skill set that I didn't explore earlier. So
Research?
Yes, I didn't do it in like residency, and like even my mentor, like he knew like I didn't do it, but he was just he was fine with it and he was like, okay, I'm going to teach you. तो
हाँ, इतना मुश्किल नहीं है. You figure it out. Actually, I don't know. I didn't know that. तो research की ना हमारी playlist है research guidance पे. तो उसमें there are videos how to write an abstract, how to prepare a presentation, how to do statistics. ये सारे basic चीजें तो देख लेना. Honestly, whatever I learned, I've shared pretty much everything. Presentation कैसे बनानी है, जितना भी research related stuff है. And why am I saying this again? I don't want to brag about myself. लेकिन मुझे Pennsylvania Medical Society ने 3 years in a row best research project का अवार्ड दिया था. एंड आई एम द ओनली पर्सन इन द हिस्ट्री ऑफ पेंसिल्वेनिया जिसको वो मिला था. मेरी फाइनल ईयर ग्रेजुएशन पे भी मुझे RSN रेडियोलॉजिकल सोसाइटी ऑफ नॉर्थ अमेरिका ने रिसर्च का दिया था. तो आई हैव आल्सो मेड अ सेपरेट सीरीज ऑफ जस्ट रिसर्च, ताकि हम खास तौर पे हमारे लोग जो है ना, उन लोगों को रिसर्च का बिल्कुल नहीं पता होता. तो यू नो यू विल प्रोबब्ली फाइंड इट हेल्पफुल. आल्सो मैंने कुछ बच्चे अभी पाकिस्तान से हायर किए हैं फॉर रिमोट वर्क. तो दे आर गोना डू सम रिसर्च प्रोजेक्ट्स. उनकी वीडियोस आएंगी मेडिडिया इंटर्न्स की. यू विल लव देम क्योंकि वो प्योरली रिसर्च बेस्ड है. और इट्स मोर टू टीच हाउ टू डू रिसर्च. वो रिसर्च करने से पहले ये सबको सिखाएंगे कि कैसे करना. चलो मूविंग ऑन. मुझे ये बताओ, डिड यू विटनेस एनी लैक ऑफ अपॉर्चुनिटीज एज अ फीमेल?
Actually, not really. Like, not even in Pakistan, obviously. तो अपना पाकिस्तान में आपने देख ही लिया, हमारे मर्द स्कूल में तो ज़्यादा लड़कियां हैं. यहाँ पे obviously जो बाकी struggle है वो फिर वही है कि how to go around it. So I don't think like any lack of opportunities. And I think जहाँ पे even especially my parents, उन्होंने जो मेरे भाइयों को जो सब कुछ सिखाया वो मुझे भी सिखाया था. मतलब अगर वो 8th क्लास में ड्राइविंग उसको सिखा रहे थे तो मुझे भी सिखा रहे थे. मतलब उनको स्विमिंग सिखा रहे थे तो मुझे भी सिखा रहे थे. तो मतलब मुझे कभी इस तरह से फील नहीं हुआ.
Say, or any special challenges that you had to overcome as a female?
So alhamdulillah, I think just because my in-laws and my husband has been so supportive, I think the biggest challenge, like any female faces, like you can ask your wife, it's just our internal struggle. Like हमारे अंदर एक चीज एक inner voice बार बार कह रही होती है, am I being a bad mother, am I doing this wrong? I think
ये
that's
वैसे
like our
बंदों में भी
biggest.
होता है, जरूरी नहीं है इट्स अ फीमेल एक्सक्लूसिव थिंग. हमें भी, मुझे भी फील हो रहा है आपसे बात करते हुए, मेरी बच्चियां वहां पे हैं, यू नो, आई एम इग्नोरिंग देम एंड यू नो डूइंग दिस रिकॉर्डिंग. एंड यू ऑल, वी all the parents have this guilty, especially physician parents have it.
Yeah, for sure. Like this is the like your inner voice is the biggest struggle that you have to face. I think
सही.
what really helped me once I talked to like a friend जिसकी mother, I'm talking about mothers, so I'm sure like fathers भी यही feel करते होंगे. तो कि do you ever resent कि your mother was like, she was a principal of a school, like she was working so hard. Like, no, I'm like so proud of her. अभी उसी की वजह से तो I work so hard कि I want to do this. So I think that really helped me कि whenever that voice gets really strong, I just tell that voice just be quiet, it's fine.
हाँ, मेरी कजन जो थी ना, वो मुझे याद है, आई वाज अ मेडिकल स्टूडेंट एट केई, आई यूज्ड टू विजिट हर इन मिनेसोटा. तो शी यूज्ड टू ड्रॉप हर किड, और एंड आई हैव सेड दिस इन माय प्रीवियस वीडियोस टू. तो उनका 2 साल का बच्चा डे केयर जाता था तो वो रो रहा होता था. मैं कहता था मैंने कभी ना बच्चों को इस तरह डे केयर नहीं छोड़ के जाना, कुछ भी ये वो. अब वो बच्चा 18 साल का हो गया, उसे कुछ याद भी नहीं है, यू नो. और यही वो मुझे कहती हैं कि मैं जब जाती थी तो शी वाज मेडिसिन रेजिडेंट इन हेनेपन काउंटी. कहते मुझे भी मेरे को रेजिडेंट्स कहते थे बच्चा तुम्हारा बड़ा होगा उसे याद भी नहीं होगा. नाउ ही इज इनक्रेडिबली प्राउड because his mother is now the medical director. She was first at Hopkins and now she's a medical director. तो मतलब you know उनको काफी awards John Hopkins ने दिए हैं, and this was only because she was resilient and kept working throughout this process. अच्छा, तो moving on, मुझे ये बताओ कि oh wow, it is the same question, but like any challenges that you feel as a physician mommy raising kids?
I think it's
अभी
just
जिस तरह आप देखो ना,
just the
मतलब
everyday struggle ke,
हाँ.
like what about like like is your food organic enough, or is the food good enough, or like sort of small things, and you just learn to overcome that. It's probably lower your standards a little bit.
अच्छा, हमारे जो बच्चे होते हैं ना, मुझे लगता है वो थोड़े से वो भी बिगड़े होते हैं और वो हमें ज्यादा स्ट्रेस देते हैं, बजाय इसके कंसोल करें ना कि इट्स ओके मॉमी डैडी यू आर डूइंग ओके. कभी कभी आपकी बेटी ने ये कहा, विश मॉमी यू वर अ स्टे एट होम मॉम?
Oh no, she wants me to go. नहीं, वो तो कहती है कि मेरा जो डे ऑफ है उसमें भी जाए इसको हॉस्पिटल वापस,
अच्छा.
क्योंकि because my mother was very strict. I try to be a strict parent कि जी अभी ये नहीं खाना, ये नहीं करना. तो ज़्यादा
अम्मी आप
दोस्तों से
घर
बात
जाओ,
नहीं
आप काम
करनी.
पे जाओ, काम पे जाओ.
नहीं, मेरी 4 साल वाली बेटी तो मिस कहती है, लेकिन जो मेरी 9 साल वाली है, she's almost becoming a teenager. She's just like whenever I'm strict with her, she's like you should go back to work. तो
वाह
जो
वाह.
तो
मेरी जो
खैर
बच्चे हैं ना, वो दोनों वो कहती हैं कि वी वांट यू टू बी अ स्टे एट होम पेरेंट्स. तो मैं कहता हूँ अच्छा ठीक है, मैं घर बैठ जाता हूँ, और अम्मी को, मॉम तुम्हारी मामा काम करती हैं, तो कहती है नहीं 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 नहीं, यू आर द स्ट्रिक्ट वन, राइट? सो आई एम द स्ट्रिक्ट वन सर. मुझे कहेंगे नहीं 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 पापा आप काम पे जाए, मामा को घर छोड़ दें. मैंने कहा ये क्या है यार, यू कैंट हैव द केक एंड यू नो ईट इट टू. तो अच्छा, मूविंग ऑन, मुझे ये बताइए कि अब यू ग्रेजुएटेड इन 2010, राइट? और दिस इज 2021. माशाल्लाह 11 साल हो गए, और मेडिसिन की रेजिडेंसी होगी, 3 साल का वेवर हो गया, 4th ईयर वेवर हो रहा है, इस साल ग्रीन कार्ड आ जाएगा. लुकिंग बैक, ये 11 साल का सफर, do you think it was all worth it at the end?
Yeah, for sure, definitely. Like I feel like अगर मैं जैसे अगर आप एक बचपन में मुझसे पूछते कि what did I want to be like when I am this is what I wanted to be. Like I feel like I just from like a professional standpoint and a personal standpoint, I can and I can do it. Like, so it's definitely all worth it.
सही सही. So why even train in US? कुछ लोग कहते हैं कि you should stay in the home country and train there and serve your home country. Why even bother to go through all this chaos and come to US?
I think it's just very personal. It's a personal choice कि आपने तीनों चीजें अगर आप different लोगों से मिलें जिन्होंने US में ट्रेन किया, UK में ट्रेन किया, पाकिस्तान में ट्रेन किया. I think this for me just seemed like the most straightforward, like a clearer path. कि जी ये 3 साल की residency आगे ये है, especially I had family here, so just
There's
from
more chances to grow professionally.
Yes, for sure.
And the training is pretty good.
Yeah.
सही. तो अब मुझे ये बताओ, do you ever feel homesick?
No, of course. I haven't been back for a few years, so this पिछले साल भी like कोई आ नहीं सका था पाकिस्तान से, तो इसलिए I started missing Pakistan so much कि अभी I wanted to go this month, लेकिन कोई issue हो गया था, तो I'm probably going to go in summer.
Say, so you said you're from Lahore, like you were originally from Hunza, but you were born, like you stayed in Lahore. तो सबसे ज़्यादा लाहौर की क्या चीज़ याद आती?
Obviously मेरा घर, parents और खाना for sure. Like खाना उसका तो कोई मुकाबला नहीं है.
What are your favorite places to eat in Lahore?
So I think MM आलम वाली तो सारी जगह हमने explore कर ली थी, जैसे वहाँ का चाइनीज अच्छा होता है. I think most recently, I think जो मुझे लगता है कि मैंने ज़्यादा explore नहीं किया था, उसको explore किए बगैर मैं ज़्यादा बाहर आ गई थी, was I think like was Cosa Nostra, like उसका जो 6 course meal होता है, जो अभी यहाँ पे नहीं कर सकते. Like sort of small things, जैसे उनके burgers बहुत अच्छे होते हैं, Nando's अच्छा है, जो आपकी typical जगह हैं वहाँ. और I think इसका Chinese
pizza और burger भी वहाँ के ज़्यादा अच्छे हैं, right?
Burger तो definitely पाकिस्तान का अच्छा है. Pizza आपको यहाँ का मिल ही जाता है. Pizza, I mean, I'm really into making bread. I even have like a starter जो कि मैंने 3 महीने इतनी देर लगा के बनाया था. तो I make pizza really well, actually better than Pakistan.
अच्छा,
pizza नहीं आता था.
So we need to eat your pizza, to tell you कि कौन सा बेहतर है.
Yeah, you need to come to Connecticut, और फिर मुझे research का भी बता देना. तो I'll show you.
इंशाल्लाह for sure. अच्छा, तो मुझे ये बताओ कि अब you again 11 years, right, this journey from medical school till now, and it was like you had a lot of hurdles, you went unmatched, which you used that experience and you performed better in your next match. और उसके बाद residency भी like और 3 बच्चों के साथ, like seriously I can't believe it कि 3 बच्चों के साथ you have done all this. What helped you the most in your entire journey?
Okay, just to be clear, residency में सिर्फ एक बच्चा था, जो
हाँ,
दूसरा
मतलब फेवर भी and job. हाँ,
उसके बाद में. तो I think the biggest thing was, I think first my parents, जिन्होंने शुरू से हमेशा से encourage किया था कि जो भी करना है, just do, if you feel like doing it, just like should do it. Or like I was just sort of raised that way to कि जी you're not different कि अपने भाई से अगर तुमने कुछ करना है, you should be able to do it. और तो I think that really helped. उसके बाद my in-laws and my like family is the biggest thing. I don't think I've met anyone कि अगर जिसके सारे घर वाले कह रहे नहीं ये नहीं करना, and they end up doing it. So I think just obviously just having that family support is just the biggest thing.
So now looking at the opposite end of the spectrum, if there was anything that hindered you the most, what was that in this journey?
Just having like too many expectations too.
What do you mean by that?
From your own self, KG, aapne like you're responsible for a whole household. Like it seems like a huge responsibility. I think just making sure KG like the food should be a certain way, like the house maintenance, your safai should be a certain way, that I think we just expect too much from us. Like we're just one person कि ये सारा काम कोई एक बंदा जो काम नहीं कर रहा होता वो भी उसके लिए भी करना मुश्किल होता है. So just I think having too many expectations from yourselves is a big hindrance for everyone. So I think having realistic expectations and just getting help asking for help and outsourcing things is just the key.
सही सलीना ने ना आई डोंट नो इफ यू वॉच सलीना's इंटरव्यू उसके इंटरव्यू में भी टॉक्ड अबाउट दैट और वो कहती है कि उसके लिए सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट चीजें जो दो हैं एक खाना सही बनाना और एक इस तरह ही ना घर साफ सुथरा रखना मैंने कहा घर की मैं टेंशन नहीं लेता घर गंद पड़ा हो ठीक है खाना सही होना चाहिए वो मैं खुद बना लेता हूँ ये खाना मैं अच्छा बना लूंगा ठीक है और सफाई की भी ठीक है क्या फर्क पड़ता है लेकिन इट्स फनी you mentioned that too तो on that note you said you have a nanny who comes every day pretty much right live in nanny नहीं है she comes right so we have a live in nanny तो मुझे ये बताओ कि how much do you pay your nanny? You don't have to give me the exact number, but ballpark. कि लोग अगर कोई देखना चाहते हैं कि how expensive are nannies, especially जो daily आए.
So अगर आपकी डेली आनी है it's like it depends sometimes जब मेरे weekends होते हैं तो उस पे भी आते हैं तो it can cost like more than like 2500 per month.
और
So
do you
it's
pay
all
hourly or
different.
monthly?
No, we do hourly because there are more hours on the week that I'm working and then less hours on the week on the days that I'm not working.
So what
But it ends up
Connecticut में
being
ना
that way.
तो
Sorry?
Connecticut में hourly rate मुझे लगता था कि काफी सस्ता था हम लोगों को like is it what 10 or 15?
नहीं, it's like between sometimes 15 to 20. तो like
अच्छा
10 तो बहुत ज़्यादा like अब तो वो नहीं होता लेकिन it ends up being that way क्योंकि वो काफ़ी ज़्यादा hours हो जाते हैं और फिर क्योंकि फिर जब पिछले साल भी हमने थोड़ा like cleaning services थोड़ी कम कर दी थी क्योंकि हम contact कम करना चाहते थे तो nanny was sometimes responsible for that too. तो उसकी वजह से होता है लेकिन it ends up being that way और especially like I have 3 kids so I think this was reasonable.
सही सही तो मुझे ये बताओ what has been the biggest happiness of your life so far?
I think just for any parent is just having their kids. It's just the
हाँ
biggest
बिल्कुल
happiness.
वो You're right. और talking about that, you know, an interesting thing you were saying कि भाई 3 बच्चों के साथ नहीं की थी, एक बच्चे के साथ रेजिडेंसी की थी. मुझे पता है क्या लगता है? मुझे लगता है एक बच्चे को पालना मुश्किल होता है, 2-3 को पालना आसान होता है. Because they play, they fight and all that. वो अपने आप में बिजी रहते हैं. एक बच्चा जो होता है वो अकेला होता है, उसको बोरियत बहुत होती है, right? And there is no like they can't do much alone. They were like वो ज्यादा मुश्किल होता है एक बच्चे को पालना क्योंकि you have to be the other sibling for them.
Yeah. I think you're right. Yeah, it was hard. Like up to they play on their own. You're just acting as a referee. जब वो लड़ना शुरू कर देंगे, that's the only time you intervene.
Exactly. More like a third empire. Acha,
Yeah.
now looking at the opposite end of the spectrum, what has been the biggest low of your life and how did you overcome that?
The biggest low, like
I think the unmatched, nahi?
I feel like that was I was expecting that.
Acha.
It might. I think there might have been more. I think I guess for males and females it might be different just coming from a society. I feel like males have this pressure to like they're supporting a whole family if they go unmatched. That's a huge thing. We don't have that much because we are not considered responsible. So and I'm just giving you guys credit too. Okay, you have all this pressure to like okay, you have your families and you're the primary like
You know, it feels so nice and privileged, you know, like just to have a little bit of credit just for a change, you know.
I'm
Kidding.
if I had like
I'm just
I
messing
give
up.
all the credit like because this is a huge I mean I probably didn't have that like sense of okay if I feel like oh my god this is the end of the world I didn't have that so I give you guys all the credit for that.
Sahi. Acha, so did you have any financial limitations that kind of hurdled your progress or not really?
I mean, obviously, like the whole thing, it can be a financial issue for like everyone. क्योंकि compared to Pakistan, जहाँ पे हम बिल्कुल ही कुछ खर्च नहीं कर रहे होते हैं, जो हमारे med school की fees is probably like $100 for the whole year. तो it's much more जितना programs में apply कर रहे होते हो, तो you just have to be mindful of that. But I don't think it was just like it wasn't a huge issue, but everyone's mindful of the currency exchange between Pakistan and US.
Sahi. Now, tell me, Shke, what is the nationwide salary range for a hospitalist? What's the minimum? What's the maximum? And what are the factors that impact it? And before you answer that, I'm going to just add कि 40% जो भी ये बताएंगे उसमें से टैक्स निकल जाएगा तो वो जो भी नंबर बताया उसमें से 40% निकाल लेना और डिवाइड बाय 12 करना वो आपके हाथ में आएगा. Go ahead.
हाँ तो इट्स वेरी बहुत ही वेरिएबल होता है अगर आपने यूनिवर्सिटी बहुत सारे प्रोग्राम्स डिपेंडिंग ऑन लोकेशन जी जी स्टार्ट होते हैं जब मैंने भी उसमें सब कर रहे थे तो स्टार्ट्स फ्रॉम 175 and some people signed up even like for 300 but it doesn't I don't think it goes beyond 300 but it's just between these two.
It does. Sometimes I know hospitalists जो 400 तक कर रहे हैं.
Yeah, I mean, it really depends. Like, if you are going far away, तो आप ज़्यादा आप कर सकते हो.
और वो एक्स्ट्रा
Like,
शिफ्ट्स पकड़ लेते हैं ना,
हाँ,
you know, the 2
for
weeks
sure.
off में भी. हाँ.
Yeah. Like, I think, yeah, you can definitely go beyond 100 with being a hospitalist. And
और दूसरा मतलब like you said, you know, if you're in an academic program you make less, if you're in a big city you make less, if you go in a rural place or community setting you make more. Say, what has been your biggest challenge that you overcame?
um, just I think at that time just that seemed like a biggest challenge कि जो चीज जैसे पढ़ाई with a kid it was just completely different and being responsible for so many other people and just doing that I feel and that changed my personality to just made me more sort of disciplined and I think that was sort of the biggest that was one of the biggest challenges just I still feel to date.
And you became better with time management because of that, right?
Oh, for sure. Like especially like जो I guess उससे पहले मैंने कभी सुबह उठ के काम करना वाला नहीं किया होगा तो मेरी हैबिट जो है ना उस टाइम पे डेवलप हुई थी.
You know, like they say, whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and you came out more resilient, right? एक उस वक्त टाइम मतलब और मुझे in general लगता है difficulties और challenges के बारे में कि चीजें उतनी बड़ी होती हैं जितना आप महसूस करते हो और आप उनको सोच सोच के जितना बड़ा बना लेते हो उतनी आपके लिए चीजें वो ज्यादा miserable हो जाती हैं. If you look at that perspective like you have कि देखो you had that but you came out victorious because uh, you know, you learned time management and you became a better person and a better professional because of that challenge.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that I always think about. Like I didn't die, so probably I ended up being stronger because of that.
Yep.
So,
So if you have to do this all over again, what would you do differently?
um, I think every step changes your personality a little bit. Obviously, in retrospect, it's very easy to say I wouldn't probably give the blabs, and I just would just do this, would apply with the complete application. But you never know कि हर step ने आपको किस तरह से change किया और कैसे आपकी एक नई habit determine की और क्योंकि being successful all the time, I feel like that gives you a different personality. Agar if you've been through failures and setbacks, that's the thing that makes you gritty and that makes you strong. If you don't have that, you won't be able to achieve things later in life. अगर आपके पास सब चीज आसानी से आ जाती है तो I don't think this will stop at one point. I think all these setbacks and were important.
But if they stop, you stop growing.
Sorry?
If these setbacks and failures they stop, then you stop growing, right? आपकी growth के लिए जरूरी होता है कि you nobody grows from success. You only grow from your failures, right? अच्छा, any advice for people in your shoes 10-11 years ago? कोई इस वक्त final year का बच्चा बच्ची आपकी बात सुन रहे हैं या कोई recent graduate है, anything that you would like to tell them, anything that you want to advise them?
Just the same. Just be resilient and जो चीज होती है after medicine, after you complete your graduation, it just seems very confusing, but whatever pathway you choose, you have to complete it. It just, in sometimes in the middle, you might feel like, is it worth it? I'm spending so much time on it. I've already spent, कि मैंने med school में इतनी मेहनत की थी, लेकिन एक जो काम आपने शुरू किया उस पे बिल्कुल आपने मेहनत करते रहना है और उस चीज को एटलीस्ट खत्म करनी है. You might not be able, obviously हर कोई हर चीज में successful नहीं होता, but it will make you into a different person and you will take something out of it. Always try what you want to achieve and give your 100%.
Especially anything for physician mommies, किसी के 2 बच्चे हैं 3 बच्चे हैं और वो कुछ पूछना चाह रही हैं कि भाई how what would you do? Because I know a lot of physician mommies and they're going through a lot of struggle, बच्चे पालना साथ पढ़ना साथ residency करना. Anything that you would like to say to them?
I think you have to find other women जो कि you have to find like a tribe जो कि who are like women like you जो कि इसी तरह के से चीज़ों से गुजर रही हैं, they can encourage each other. Sometimes if you hear something bad, it's just sometimes, most of the time, a lot of people feel like it might come from men, like some misogynist comment. It's actually sometimes from females who are not working. So just stay away from them. Find people like your own people who will always encourage you, will always bring you up when you're down, and when there are days when you feel like, oh, you're doing a horrible job at everything you're doing, they will bring you up. So I think that is important. Obviously, like all, like your husband is also one, is a person like that, but having a group, and I've been fortunate, I've had really nice female friends.
Good.
Well, thank you so much for letting me talk this much.
Thanks a lot, Nate. Thank you for doing that, and I'm sure it will, especially a lot of physician mommies, they need this support, and I truly hope it would help them. Well, I hope you guys all learned something from this video. If you did, please like it, share it with others, subscribe to the channel, ring on the notification bell, and like I always say, never give up, never lose hope. All right, bye. Allah Hafiz.